Yeah, when we first started at S.A.R.A.H in 2000, our first meeting was in 2002, and S.A.R.A.H was a result of the events of 9/11. And I woke up to the scene that everybody was seeing that morning, or wherever you were in the world, and and trying to make sense of it all. And I heard gather the women. I didn't know what that meant, where I was supposed to find the women, and what I was supposed to do once I got them. But I said yes. And it didn't take long before I was in living room dialogues that were put on by the Orange County Human Relations Commission to bring together the interfaith community to dialogue, to measure the tension and a level of tolerance in the community. And there I found the women, and we went off and we became profound community builders in our community, cross-pollinating. But I guess the reason I'm telling you a little bit about the history is because we start at the grassroots level with everything that we do. And we've come to realize, in watching the patterns of everything that we have done, when you want to follow the deep root system and really use our time as wisely as we can, trying to really, accelerate solutions that disproportionately impact women and girls through the lens of through our faith traditions and our belief systems, which is really the anchor that holds that domination in place, is that which gets to the heart first. And that's what better than our religion and through our belief systems. So we started really focusing on the topic of patriarchy and the topic of domination over partnership. And what we found was that religion is, again, that primary pillar that holds the house up. Really, it's really where the message, gets straight to the heart. And unfortunately, women and girls are the ones who suffer disproportionately first. And I say first because first the women and girls suffer, but because they are the keepers of tradition, the keepers of the womb. We birth the next generations. We hold life in our hands and in our bodies. And so if we're first impacted, that means all of humanity is impacted. Plus we have 70 to 85, depending on who you ask and at what time of the year, we have 70 to 85% of all buying power in the home. So we are powerful beyond measure, yet we are disproportionately dominated over, whether it's through our languaging, whether it's through economics, whether it's through a rape culture, whether it's through anything that creates that communal, I would say, that's created by, I should say, that communal neural pathway. If in neuroscience, the neural pathway in our brains is when a thought runs through your mind so much that it actually carves a groove in your brain. And that way a thought can just flow without you even having to think much about it. That is how habit is formed. Well, the same thing happens at a community level when we're constantly behaving and speaking in certain ways, and we start accepting things the way they are, such as our institutions, our religious institutions, who are holding up that patriarchy through the domination of women, basically through what women can and cannot read of our sacred texts, and what a woman's place in the religion is, as extreme from extreme to here in the United States, again, who is permitted to read the Torah, who is permitted to wear a collar, so as long as we continue to accept that, then that pervasive issue will continue. And it seems sort of that simple. Yet, even looking at UN, the United Nations Resolution 1325 on peace and security, the Peace and Security Council, that requires that parties in a conflict zone have to consider the impact of women and girls on that, and make sure that women are at the peacemaking table. Well, studies have shown that the women who are at that peacemaking table, whether it be Oslo or wherever their peace negotiations happen, those sustainable solutions happen. So we can prove through United Nations efforts that when women are part of the conversation, when women are engaged in decision making, when women are part of our ideology and held up as equal partners in our religious ideology, that solutions are lasting, consider everybody, all of humanity, and are resilient and sustainable. So it starts with each one of us. It really is that simple, and it's just a matter of us accepting our personal responsibility and self advocacy and a little courage to stand up and say, this doesn't work for me, because we're losing our youth. And when we lose our youth, there goes there goes religion. And religion has an awful lot to be concerned about right now, because we are losing our youth. We recently had a call last week on our Death Throes of Patriarchy call with two profound millennial speakers who basically spoke on this very topic. And they basically just said the same thing. They're no longer accepting the status quo, and they're going elsewhere. So I think we have to all take a very hard look at what we're doing and promoting and accepting.